And then someone's on phone.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Who's on phone? Who's on the phone?
Oh, good evening. I'm sorry.
Oh, hi.
Ingrid.
Okay. So Anne, my name is Raquel, since I don't think we've ever met before. My name is Raquel. I am a second year student in the PhD program for cognition instruction. And I'm from Southern California. I'm in Riverside. So it's like 3 p.m. where I'm at.
Awesome. Well, yeah. Hi again. I'm Anne. This is my third year. I just finished data collection, so I'm analyzing my data so I can write up chapter 4 and 5. So I'm finally seeing a light at the end of the tunnel. And I live in Las Vegas.
Hey,
Hey, Ann.
Hey.
This is Ingrid Danglebin, better known on Facebook as Feisty Island Girl.
Hey,
I'm
girl.
in
How are you? Why are you calling in? You need to get on video. You don't want us to see you?
Yeah.
I am in my bed. I am on a mental break. I am chilling today.
Okay, Ed.
You get it.
Put some clothes on. Yeah.
Nope, I'm not getting up.
Hey, that's why we do online studies, right? To go to school in our pajamas.
Exactly.
Exactly. And I'm in my third year.
I better put something on.
No. I am in my third year with Grand Canyon. I'm still working on my literature review. It's kind of stressing me out right now. But I'm hoping to get it together.
You will.
What program are you in, Ingrid?
General Psychology and Industrial Organization.
Okay. Cool. Last time we had all the EDDs, right?
Yeah.
That is. I'm EDD.
Me too.
And we had someone else join too. I see a new face, a new person, a quiet person.
Hi, I'm Dwana, EDD, Special Ed.
Oh, okay.
Where are you in the program?
This is my third year. I'm still waiting for my prospectus to be approved.
Good. I'm just close to you. I'm almost ABD. This is my last coursework, which is EDU 827. So hopefully 3 more weeks, I'll get assigned a chair and start doing my prospectus.
Okay.
Do I see another quiet person?
I guess it's me, eh? I'm not sure.
I'm calling you out. I'm calling you all
Oh,
out.
sorry. Hi, my name is Patsy Wilson, and this is my second year. I am a DBA, and I will be starting my prospective class next month, November 10th.
Me too. Me too.
I think I added you was over there when I was over for residency, but you was in a different section than, I think you went in August, but you were in a different section. I went in August, and I noticed that something you posted on the Facebook, I realized we were over at the same time, but you know, residency is always hectic. Yes.
Who was your instructor in the residency?
I had Dr. Dr. G. It was two of them. The surname was G. Both of them. It was totally different this year in comparison to last year. I had Dr. White and Dr. Kazaa, I think last year. And I definitely wanted to change because I was going to have her again. And I said, no, I don't want her again this year. So I definitely changed. I wrote my student advice. I said, please change me immediately. And she did.
Okay, so Raquel, I have a suggestion. From now on, why wouldn't we focus on your session? Like, for example, next week, why wouldn't we focus on, for example, how to align our research, and we would. What do you think?
You cut out a little bit, but I think I got the gist of what you're saying. You were saying that you want, or you think it would be best for us to kind of like have topics for our calls? Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think that would be great to keep us focused, because with this free version, we only have like an hour and 15 minutes. So that would be good. I think it's a great idea, but I also like general, like just in case anything comes up, general questions to have maybe something astray from the topic. I'd like to also invite those as well, but I think like focus should be good.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
Well, what about everybody else? I mean, how does this is a democracy. Let's take a vote.
I'm just fascinated with this thing I'm playing with for the first time. I didn't put my name in. That's what happened.
Okay, what we were,
it's a great idea.
What we were
It's a great idea.
is just to have our sessions focus on one specific topic, and we have a week, like from today until next Sunday, we have a week just to prepare any questions that we are not sure of, or we can just cooperate researching some important issues about this specific topic.
It sounds like you're assigning me more homework, Ayad. I don't know if I like that.
Not for you, not for you, Raquel. It's for everybody. I mean, whoever is willing to participate in the session would prepare some important issues that he or she thinks that it's important just to put it on the table, and we all can give our opinions.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a good idea. I'm all for it.
I'm not assigning you any homework, although you are the administrator, but everybody is welcome to share.
I'm a slacker. Honestly, I'm a slacker. So I barely participate. I'm a part of a Facebook group that is like the general population of online students at GCU, even like the undergrad. And there was a STEM about participating in discussion questions, and someone was complaining that people don't participate, and I don't participate. I felt so bad. I was like, on behalf of everybody like me, I'm sorry. Like, I really struggle with doing my homework.
That's okay.
I think the topic is good, but I also think it should be open to, if people have specific questions or issues, that they can bring it up, especially for, individuals that may be further along. I'm here to help in any way that I can. But I do think that, it should be free flowing as well.
Yeah. Well, all of you are ahead of me, so there's certain things that I don't think I could really contribute to because I don't know anything about, so it's really nice to learn from you guys. But yeah, let's get on a topic and start talking. I'm ready to listen.
Okay, so I guess since the first topic that is required in the study is finding a gap or a need for further research. So tell me, Gar, what do you think? What were your experiences just finding a gap? And is it only because this is an issue that I myself have been suffering from, which is because it wasn't clear from the beginning. I haven't been told the minimum number of articles or studies that call for the identified gap. So right now I have only one, but I was shocked when I went to the university residency, because my instructor told me, maybe she's wrong, but she told me you should have a minimum of 5 studies that literally call for your gap, for your study, for the need of your study. So, Anne, can I ask you what or how many articles there are that identify the gap to your study?
That question came up last week too. Do we need articles that specifically state there is a need to study this?
Yes.
Well, yeah. I was fortunate enough to, and I asked that question, I think, when I was getting part of the program. But here's how I approach it. I was fortunate enough to find an article that specifically ask for my topic. But when I first started looking at it, my topic is looking at female military veterans that transition to the civilian workforce, right? So actually, it's a particular group and a female veteran that was in a particular rank. So my question was, so I was able to find, a topic that actually, an article, I should say, that actually recommended it. You have to keep in mind, well, from what I've been told, it doesn't have to specifically say for your topic. For an example, like I said, I'm looking at female commissioned officers, but I could find an article that just recommend additional studies on female veterans in general, just not that specific, area that I limited it down to. So, gaps can be in multiple forms. You can look at, when I was looking at my studies, for an example, as I started out big, I was looking at all military, the studies that talked about the topic, not necessarily the population. So as I looked at studies that looked at that topic, I would look at, okay, who were their participants? And I started seeing that a lot of the articles just looked at men. So that's a gap. If you have all of these articles that only look at men, then a gap in the literature is that you need a study that looks at female.
Yeah,
exactly.
Or or if you look at articles all quantitative, then you have a gap that in the methodology, you need more studies that is qualitative. So I never heard of, you need to find a gap that specifically said for what you're looking for. You just have to show that there's a need and, don't just look at that specific, thing. I would say start big and dwell. You got to look at, the number of the participants. Is it all male, all female? Is it all black? Is it all white? In order to find that gap that you're looking for. So that's my experience.
Okay, so what I understood from what you just mentioned is that, first of all, the need could be implied. It should not be directly stated. This is one. Another issue that I've understood from what you're saying, in your problem statement, or actually in your introduction, you would say, X and Y have studied such relationships, but their population was male. However, no study has been conducted to deal with this problem from a female perspective. Am I correct?
Correct. That's exactly what I did. In the intro, a background to the problem, I had all these studies that looked at, you got to look at the phenomena that you're studying, not necessarily your specific population. So if I'm looking at military transition, I'm looking and I'm like, okay, I stated that this person conducted a study on military transition, but, all of the participants were male, or it was only 2 female. Therefore, it left a gap, a limitation of that study that it excluded female veterans. You have to use that terminology, that they're looking for, that limitation, gap in the literature. You got to use that terminology so that they see it. You can't let them guess for it. You have to point it out to them.
Even if the limitation, or even if this issue hasn't been mentioned in the limitation section?
Yeah, and that's...
Some researchers do not mention, the specific issue in the limitation section.
Right.
So, okay, go ahead.
Yeah, that brings up a great point. Normally when you hear about looking for the gap, if you're looking at a dissertation, they'll tell you to go to chapter 5 and look at the future recommendations. But I actually found mine in one of mine, I should say, in the limitation section. She identified that one of her limitations excluded female veteran commissioned officers. And then she went on to say, therefore, additional studies are needed on this veteran population. So there's 2 places. Look at the limitations of a study as well that can possibly lead you to your gap.
And the
You have
recommendations.
to say that. You have to use those words.
One thing that I like that you said is that the gap, what it means by gap is that's a general term, and you can identify the gap within like there's X number of quantitative studies but no qualitative studies, or every study I've done a meta-analysis and none of these studies have a different population, and that's one thing that has helped me identify a gap in my study is there has been no research on what they call the meshing hypothesis in special education programs and people with like learning disabilities. So because there is a limitation, there is a gap, or because the validity, the construct validity of something is not too good, you can do it over and make it better. Or you
right, to either prove that validity, right, exactly. Yeah.
I really like
that. For instance, with my topic, there ain't no study at all related to the topic that I'm doing and now I have to do it based on my population. So that's how that's how mine was able to be approved. I'm doing teachers and workplace bullying. There ain't no study out there pertaining to teachers being bullied in the public school system.
Okay,
So because of that, I'm able to do my study.
You have to prove that there's a need. So yeah, I mean, they might be telling you, okay, you need 5, I think, dissertations or whatever articles or whatever. You need proof. You need evidence that your study is needed. And you can look at that from various ways. You know, like we said, 5 out of those 4 was quantitative. Therefore, I want to do it qualitative. You know, 5 out of those 4 was, you know, included men. I want to look at women. So yeah, you got to just look for it.
I'm sorry, Raquel. Is there a limitation for the number of participants in this Zoom call?
Well, I don't know actually.
Because one of my friends is texting me right now, the one in Afghanistan, and she said it couldn't connect here. I don't know why.
I don't.
Free version, I think there's 50 because I use the free. I actually use Zoom to conduct my study. There's only like 7 people on here, so yeah.
Well, it said that the link was from an unrecognized developer.
Let me try again.
I clicked it fine, so I don't. Maybe
well, I sent it in an email.
I think somebody else just joined, Miss Nada.
Yeah.
Her friend.
Yeah, I clicked on the email that you sent, and I was able to go through my iPad. And you made a good recommendations because during residency they highlighted that information, and they said that even though it in the article you don't see the gap, you could infer certain things, but once they point out in the article, you can use it. I had Dr. Brian for the professor before I went to residency, and he indicated that you should have 5. Well, my previous professor, I say 5. However, he said basically you just need the 1, but you should have all your other ones to back up. Yes, in the event. Just to add to that, that's all.
Yeah. But if you can find it in multiple places, you know, even though it's not indirectly, you can find it in multiple places. That's even better. So.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'll add my next class. I noticed that is the proposal class. I noticed that my
She will try calling, Raquel.
You froze up.
Who's this administrator's iPad? I thought, wouldn't that make me the administrator?
I think she said she forgot to put her name in there, and that's what popped up. I don't know. And now she's frozen up.
Who the hell is the administrator's iPad? That's
okay.
Okay. Keep going.
Okay. She's trying to call it. Okay. So now that's a good point that I haven't realized before that, which is the gap should not be directly stated by the researchers, and we can have that gap, or we can create the gap itself. I mean, it's already, although it's already there, but we can make use of what has been mentioned and what hasn't been mentioned. I mean, just to say that these studies have not done sufficient research on this issue, and then I say, or I would recommend that there is a gap. Is that correct?
Well, no, you can't make up a gap. I mean, you have to show that there's a gap. So what, I mean, so I don't know, what's your topic, I guess? So you have to, whatever your topic is.
My top, okay. Let me just tell you exactly what I have and what I don't have. My topic is, let me read you the exact topic. It says, an investigation of the relationship between critical thinking skills and advanced ESL learners' language learning and highest level of education. So it's going to be like a correlational quantitative study. The variables are critical thinking skills, and the other ones are learners' language learning, like their academic achievement in language learning, and their highest level of education. So what I've understood at the beginning is that one article that's stating exactly the need, I already have this article. An article that
recent?
it was conducted in Iran, and it says, well, it found out that there is a positive correlation between ESL students' critical thinking skills and and their speaking skills. And in the limitation section, they recommended doing further studies that include all language skills and not only speaking skills. So this is a direct article, a direct call for studying this gap.
Yeah, but are they saying, well, two questions. What year is that study? Is it recent?
2013. It is recent.
That's pushing it close. But okay. But
The location.
when they rate the location, when they make recommendations, are they saying additional studies need to be done on that in Iran? Or did they specifically say additional studies need to be done on the United States?
In general, they didn't mention the location, and I think location doesn't matter, because in the United States there is no study that was conducted with this issue. Most, if not all, of the articles. Okay, Tanya, welcome back.
Hi, thanks.
So, okay, welcome.
Hello,
so,
everybody.
Yes, concerning, hi, your morning. I guess you have morning it right now? You?
It's 3 a.m.
Morning over there?
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, she's from Afghanistan.
That's cool.
So, what I was saying is that, yeah, they didn't mention the location. I mean, they didn't mention the location in their recommendation section. They said, no study, or they said, although this study has found a positive correlation between critical thinking skills and ESL students' speaking skills, but there is further research that's needed to find such relationship with all language skills, not only speaking skills.
So is this the only article? I mean, have you found anything else that?
I found some other articles. However, these articles have dealt with, again, critical thinking and writing skills, critical thinking and grammar, critical thinking and vocabulary learning. But there's no study that has tried to find the relationship between critical thinking skills on one side and all other language skills on the other side.
Okay.
Oh,
yeah, I would approach it from, I mean, yeah, you can use that article. I don't know if the location would be an issue or not, but I would approach it from the, like you said, if all your other studies have used critical thinking and all these other skills, so there's a gap in the literature on critical thinking and whatever you're trying to do, right? So I would address it from that aspect. You have all of these articles that looks at it from this aspect, but not from the aspect that you want to look at it. And you can, I mean, yeah, but I don't know if the location, it shouldn't be an issue, but I don't know. I thought you said before when you were at residency, somebody made a comment about it was an issue.
No.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But before I went to the residency, my residency instructors told me that a GCU requirement for the population should be from a U.S. population. But then when I went to the residency, I told her, when I went to the residency, we have a discussion about that because I told her, yes, this population is from Iran, but it's an ESL population. And we in America, we have a lot of ESL students, so it's not an issue just to find a specific study which has been done in America.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. But your population you will be doing with students here in the United States.
Correct.
Gotcha. Okay. That's how I would approach it. I mean,
And I agree.
you'll find, that's just my saying, but when you get your chair, your chair trumps all. It's whatever your chair says is what you go with. But that's how I would approach it. You got to start somewhere, but that's how I would approach it. But you have to show that there's a gap. You have to show that.
Okay, this is another issue.
No, yeah, she's absolutely correct. She's absolutely correct because I was told the same thing in the sense that, well, our class was told the same thing. If no one has ever done your specific one, you begin to talk about all the studies, the other studies that have been done, and then you identify that gap. This area hasn't been done. So I agree with you 100%.
Okay,
My
this is
sister,
another
I don't know who's talking, sorry.
So I've realized that different instructors have different opinions. None of them,
Yes,
none of these opinions could be acceptable by the IRB staff. So finally, what is important and what matters is the opinion of your chair. Am I correct?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You will find, if you haven't seen already, there's no consistency in GCU. And don't be surprised when you get to your prospectus stage or where you're assigned a chair, you're going to be like, why didn't somebody say something about this before now?
Yeah.
Well, can I, like,
But, press on.
I just like, I kind of want to speak to that because basically one time I was told, I've done research before. One time I was told I did a qualitative study. It was an interpretive phenomenology. And I was criticized by a quantitative researcher saying that my research was not valid and it was journalism. And basically what's going on here in the different opinions of what is a gap and the terminology is a reflection of the different psychological approaches people take in research, you know, people's stance on how they approach research. And some people are quantitative and some people are qualitative. Some people are, you know, X or Y. So it will vary person to person. And can you ask for another chair if you don't get along with yours? Because
no.
Oh, no.
Wow.
I mean, unless you have dire, you know what I mean? It has to be a dire situation.
Right.
Yeah, no, honey.
So this means that when you get your chair, there is a chance that the hull of your thought book might be changed if your chair doesn't like it.
I wouldn't say that they're going to change it because they don't like it. You just have to prove your case. They may tell you, you know, or you just have to make sure that everything is aligned, that you prove your case. You know, they can't personally say, well, I don't like this, do something else. Or they might say, you know, no. But what I'm saying is that where you think that the work that you've done thus far in this prospectus class or, you know, stuff like that, you thinking you're good to go,
Yes, and keep saying it.
I'm just saying, and I'm not.
Lord have mercy.
Take this as a negative. I'm not bashing it. I'm not trying to scare anybody or be negative.
You're telling the truth.
We need it.
No, but I'm just
telling the truth.
with you. So, but real quick,
this is telling me it's going to stop in 10 minutes. Our conversation is going to stop in 10 minutes. They cut us like.
No, I think the free version is only 45 minutes. You'll basically have to start another one and send out the link again if you want to add more time.
Does anybody want to continue going until 4 or what do we? Yeah? Okay. Okay, I'll start another one after it ends.
Yeah, so go ahead. But no, I mean, just be ready for you know, possible.
Changes.
There's going to be changes. So don't get stuck on, well, I thought I got an A in my prospectus class. I thought I was good to go. No. So that's all I'm saying.
Because that happened to me. In my coursework, my professor was telling me, you have a very good start, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, when I submitted to my chair in my last class and I got the grade, I owe a heart attack because I was doing it completely wrong. So I had to basically start over.
Yeah.
So it's a process. It's stressful, but you just gotta hang in there. And do not become, one thing I'm gonna tell you all, do not be combative with your chair. If your chair says change it, just change it. Don't be combative, because once you become combative, it's gonna be more difficult. And hope and pray that the chair that you get is willing to work with you. God has blessed me with a good chair. And I mean, she has been very supportive and she points me in the right direction.
I had a question. Anne, you're further along than any of us, and I am going into my second extension course. And the methodologist has my prospectus. Should I be really concerned about being able to finish?
So what do you mean by extension course?
I've finished my coursework, and so now I'm in the extension courses.
Yeah. So am I.
Explain
That's
what
where you
extension
go
course
to
is.
next. That's your next class. That's your
That's
next class.
next class. That's not the extension class. That's your
No,
next
the
class.
extension classes are the carryover to finish this, and you get 5 before financial aid cuts you off. So I'm in my second one.
Oh, okay.
So that's after completing the dissertation, the 3
Yeah,
dissertation
so-
then.
Right. So basically how the continuation courses work, I think there's 3 dissertation classes. I can't even remember.
Yes, the 3.
Yeah, you have 3 dissertation classes because I'm in my last one.
Okay, so once you complete those 3 dissertation classes, if you're not done, which you probably won't be, you're enrolled in what's called a continuation course. And she's right, you get up to 5. I'm in my 3rd one. You get up to 5, meaning that student loans will cover it or whatever have you. Now, after your 5th one, you're no longer considered full-time. You're considered a part-time student. The student loans won't cover it. And then you won't be paying the full price. You only be paying $500 for 8-week course. But
Okay.
that's how extension courses work. So what was your question again? I'm sorry. You was like, how realistic?
I think, well, my question is, should I be concerned at this point that I'm at this juncture in the process? When I started the first residency, of course, they said, oh, that's a good study. Second residency, wonderful study. When I got to my chair, she said the same study that everyone else says was wonderful wasn't going to cut it. It wasn't a doable study. So she has walked me through the process of changing my study. I've gotten to the process of where the methodologist has it, but yet I'm in this, going into this second extension course. And after this, I have 3 more, and then it's out of pocket. So I guess my question is that normal? Should I be concerned? And, you know, how have other people dealt with the same journey in finishing up?
Yeah, I can't say if it's normal or not because everybody's situation is different. But from everything that I've read out on the DC network, you should be, well, what might be considered normal is finishing within those 5 continuation courses. But some people don't, which is fine. I mean, you have to just be persistent and just knock it out. I mean, you just got to stay the course, and you can only do your part. You know what I'm saying? So when something is kicked back, which it will be, make sure you do your part to turn it around quickly, but you know, that
But
you're
you
turning
still
around a
have to
quality
wait. You
product.
have to wait.
You gotta
like
wait.
the methodologist,
Yeah,
he took the whole 10 days.
yes.
Yeah, that was 10 days of my life, you
Oh,
know,
yeah.
waiting,
But,
you know.
But while the methodologist is working on your stuff, you should be working on chapter 2.
yeah, you always need to be working ahead. Like they said, there's one thing that I learned at residency, and I live by that, and that's my little motto now. You gotta hustle while you wait.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So, because you're gonna be waiting. I mean, not just prospectus, proposal. I'm at my stage, and I'm still. Lord have mercy. But yeah, you're gonna wait. But the thing about the waiting, it sucks. But yeah, continue to work on it. But
Right.
then you also have to remind them sometime. I was so bad on day 11, I was sending messages. But but I would give them a little, you know, maybe a couple days leeway. But then I'm like, hey, what's going on with this? Because y'all expect us to turn our stuff in on time. Y'all need to do the same. So you can't be afraid to speak up for yourself. Just ask a question.
I'm sorry. It's gonna over. We got 3 more minutes. So would you recommend moving to the second call?
Yes, I'm going. I'm typing out the email right now. So we can end it and then I'll pick up again.
Okay, bye, and nice meeting everybody. Take care.
Okay, sign back on, everybody. Sign back on.
Bye-bye.
Okay, see you in a minute.
Thanks. Bye.